The star of today's video will be this Dixon 50-inch, 22 horsepower, zero turn, Kohler Command 22. It's been on the channel before. He keeps it in real good shape. It's an older machine, but in perfect working order with new LED headlights custom fit by yours truly. Problem is, it's down on power terrible, and it smells like fuel. Well, I got a few lists on my suspects on my list, but we need to diagnose this and, if necessary, get some parts ordered quick. First thing I'm going to do is let you hear it, and I want to hear it for myself now that it's over here. Guess I better not turn on the blade right now. Happen to have my garden hose right underneath the darn thing. But anyway, as it's going, the symptoms are low on power, smells like fuel, and then he believes that as it rides, it gets lower on power as you use it. So maybe as something heats up, it changes. We don't know. Let's diagnose. My garden hose in the safe zone. I'm just going to start this up and just see how bad it bogs when I turn those blades on fully. Yeah, that bog's pretty bad. Even with the triple blade 50-inch, we're down on power terrible. So to discuss my list of suspects, I'm just going to guess that the most likely would be one out of the two coils. This is a twin cylinder engine, that one out of the two coils has failed. Unlikely the spark plugs would have failed. Possible though. And the second most likely would be the shorting, the ground wire in between the coils could have gone bad, shorted out. Some of these, I know the Briggs have like a diode in the middle that makes one coil not backfeed into the other when it's killing whatever. I don't know. And the last would be valves way out of adjustment. Possibly the clearance is a little bad when it first starts, and then the clearances increase or decrease, making the valves misact when it warms up. So let's start ruling some things out and see what we have. All right, I got you on what is the left side of the engine there. I got a spark checker there. And let's see, where am I pointed? I lost you. There we are. I see it. Try to get you way up in there. We should see a spark jumping within that cone. I don't see any spark jumping in that cone at all. Now let's go to the other side and rule this one out. Oh, that's a long plug end. There we go. This one will be even easier to see, because it's more in the shade. Let's see what we have now. Good spark there. But it's not getting to the engine because I think I'm grounded out on something. Yeah, jumping just fine. Technically, that should fire the plug still, but okay. This side good, that side bad. I think we got a spark issue here, not an engine mechanical. I went for that test for that reason, because I don't want to take anything apart, like valves, that we don't have to. I could easily take off that valve cover right there and see everything I need to see as far as the valves, but if there's nothing wrong with the valves and it's a spark issue, well, then that makes sense. Quickest, dirtiest check. Diagnosis confirmed. Now let's take that cover off and see what we see in there. Do we have mouse damage? Do we just have a bad coil? Do we have a wire problem? Let's go look. See what all has to come off here. Obviously this one. Oh, what size is that? Not that size. I was expecting metrics. Are we still running US sizes on this old vintage machine? Holy cow. That totally didn't look like 5/16. Look bigger than that. Take off the power to the voltage regulator or rectifier, whatever that happens to be. Why do I feel that there's a lot more to this than those couple little screws? Now that's bigger. Now we're running 10s. I think all this has to come off. Because I don't see any other screws. Oh, I got one more up there. Oh, maybe a couple here. Okay. This one's got... Oh yeah, those are the 5/16 again. That's why it wasn't turning. It seemed like it was loose. Get you, try to get you up in here. Whoops. Socket fell off. Oh, this one's got a wire I got to make sure I get back on later. How will I get that out? Oh, I got to take the oil dipstick off first. That's tied in over here. And then behind that is the screw I need to get, bolt, whatever. this up and out. Just try not to drop some junk down in the oil. This motor has pretty good access. This whole seat assembly flips up, but that doesn't help me get to the engine. That helps you get to the hydros and that kind of stuff. Ah, she's stuck again. Why am I not using my power ratchet? Great question. And now I'm seeing I'm going to have to remove some of this stuff at the back because those screws, oh no, they're not going down in there. Will this come up? I think all this stuff's got to come off because that screen ain't going to fit through there. Okay, we'll do that. Every motor is a little different, even different years. You can't know it all on every. You can't have a procedure in your brain for every eventuality. Let's see, about 10 millimeter again, maybe. Let's try for that. Now we can use some power tools. Holy cow. I thought those just went right into the top of the flywheel. No, they do not. Whoa, spacer ring on the bottom. Okay, remember that. Now there's more. Oh yeah, we're taking off this whole thing, aren't we? Oh, we got to take off throttle, cable assembly, whole bunch of stuff here. Okay. I was stuck on one of the bolts I removed earlier. And that's not a 10. We're back to 5/16. Oh, that's like a muffler clamp for a car. Weird. Oh, is that cross-threaded, folks? That must go through both pieces there. Let me guess. This one's the same way. Yep, probably. Oh, why didn't you tell me? There's two on both sides. Oh, that's nice. Snapped. Can't get it through because this thing's in the way. Is there any way to snake that out of there? I don't want to mess with this adjustment. Okay, I have to. I've decided. Weird size again. Different size than that. 10. 10. Oh my gosh. There was a little washer and a spring and everything just went kablooey. There we go. See what we got. So we got 2 wires that go to each coil. Connecting. That's just okay, 1 ground there. Everything's zip tied nice. I don't see any mouse chewing. Now the problem is with this one is I can't do throttle control or anything because we've removed all that. So if I disconnect this to make sure the spark, usually what you'll do is you'll disconnect the shorting wires to see if the coil starts up, and then it's something in the wires that's making it stop. On this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that because that engine, I've taken off the throttle controls, or I've taken off, no, what is this? Is that just for the choke? Okay, I'm just going to try to hold it, start it up, and see if it runs any different with the wires off the coil. What's unusual here is there's 2 wires. There's a yellow and a brown. I'm not used to seeing that. Usually they just run 1 to kill it. It's just, you know, short to ground or no short to ground. So yeah, like I say, every one of these is different. The Briggs is different than this one, and even different years. All right, now I'm going to try to start it. I got that kill wire disconnected. That one's still connected. No difference. The engine kills. That means confirmed kill. That coil is dead. Guess that won't turn very well. There we go. Just looking at the gap. Pretty minimal, yeah. So they're standard. Or less. Takes 2 seconds to change the part. Takes 20 minutes to get in there. And by the way, how did that not fly off when I was just testing that? That's amazing. The balance that thing has. That could have gone bad. Let's take that off before I rev it up again. Got you back out here with me. We're working on our old blue. And we have replacement coils. These ones happen to have 1 tab. The originals had 2 tabs. Normally the way those work, 1 tab just grounds through the key to the ground to kill it. This one, I think it had some capacitive discharge ignition system. I'm going to try to figure out specifically which wire goes up into here. And we will disconnect that system and only use the kill wire. Got you zoomed in there. Let's go from ground to brown wire, 606 ohms. Ground to yellow, 686 ohms. I was expecting ground on one and nothing on the other. And they both go back to this CDI box. Quite interesting. Let me just try key on and see if those change at all. I'm just doing continuity now. We can check voltage next. I don't know that it goes voltage or what. Same. Now I lose any continuity on brown. Interesting. And you know what? Let me disconnect this other coil. That could be giving us a false reading if these are tied together, which I believe they should be. Other coils now disconnected. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, now let me do my short to ground check when they're off. I may have been reading continuity on that other, or resistance of that other coil with that plugged in. Nothing. 600. So it looks like the brown one is the one we're going to use. And if I didn't mention, so we're going to be using the brown one, which is the 1/4 inch terminal. This one is smaller than 1/4 inch, which is not the standard. So I figured it was going to be the brown one anyway, but we have to make sure. The original ones were designed, I think it said something like this is a capacitor discharge or some kind of other electronic coil. Unusual to use those, and they don't make the originals anymore, so you have to do a retrofit. So basically all I'll be doing is taping that off and leaving it right there. Yeah, just tape these little ones off. No sense cutting them off in case in future old blue territory they somebody remakes the original coils that need this. Then they'll be ready to plug and play. Very unlikely that'll ever happen. But what else were we going to do with them? Good. This does not have a thing that says this side up, but we could assume, and we are assuming, that it is the side with the terminal facing up. The old one was anyway. Let's say that much. The old one was. And that one is, so let's go with that. That the spark wire comes out the original way, even though there's nothing original about these. except that. Usually most business cards are around 10 thousandths, and usually most clearances desired are around 10 thousandths. Probably a little tight on the one side. Sometimes they torque a little bit. They spin a little bit as you're tightening those. So it may not be a one-shot deal. I'm sure we were probably within spec, but if I can do it better than what I had, we don't want that rubbing because that would create like a crazy amount of heat real quick. That's much better. Give them a little more. Still good. And that's interesting. That appears to be for a small lug, not the 1/4 inch. Now it's got me worried. Let's get that other coil off of there. We'll know when we try it, but I'd like to know before that. Of course, they give you no instructions with the conversion type spark system I bought, which is aftermarket. Nobody gives you a hint. Wow, that thing's hard to turn. Good compression. Squeak alert. Too late. Good. We'll try it like that, but if it doesn't kill the engine, I will change those. If it does kill the engine, if that's the right wire, which I believe it should be, I will change those to the proper one because those don't fit worth a darn. All right, that's supposed to lay back in there like that. Okay. I'm going to try to test fire this and see if it'll kill. I will not have my voltage regulator hooked up, so we will just run it for a little bit there. We don't have to worry about the battery, but let's just make sure that it does kill when it needs to kill. Parking brake is on. Did I put the other spark wire on this plug? Nope. Give it a chance at least. It doesn't like it. Those might be the wrong wires. Maybe that's why they came with this small terminal. Let's use their plugs that they gave me. The kit came with the plugs I will never use in anything legitimate. And let's see if we have any spark. Well, there's a good a spot as any. I'll just turn the light off. Right down here you should see spark. We should see spark. Yeah, we got spark. What are we talking about here? Is it flooded? Does it need more gas? Interesting. Trying to think of what else has to be connected to make that engine run. To make those sparks spark. Just for good measure, I'm going to take both of these off and see if that's playing with it. No, that has nothing to do with it. Not even getting a cough. I hear the fuel solenoid. Do not understand. Bring it back. I think I figured it out. Of course, the choke and the throttle are both disconnected from their cables. So when I'm trying to choke it to start it, I'm not getting anything. Key off. Those were the wires we needed to kill it. Okay. I'm glad I find that out. Because that's what happens when you take something apart days ago and you forget that those linkages are off. Oftentimes they're not linkages, like on a Briggs, the linkages come around the housing. This one, the linkages are part of that housing, so yay! What that means for us is we need to change these to the smaller diameter, less than 1/4 inch proper plugs. After a more careful look there, those were 1/4 inch. They were just thinner. I took these and just cinched them down a little bit. Now they're very good. I didn't think they looked like smaller than 1/4 inch when I started. And it's very rare to see that, but for some reason it just came in my mind it could be small because that other terminal was small. But anyway, done. Alright, flywheel. These got 2 indicating pins here that drop in the holes. So let's see where they're happy. Let's look where the holes might be first, huh? Here and here? Yes. Actually, I think that goes on later, doesn't it? That's what happens when you don't take it apart the same day you're putting it back together. And it's all my fault. let's go with that scenario. Get that top cover. Ooh! Don't fall over stuff. And by the way, if you haven't already figured it out, I'm filming at night. Because it's hot. Real hot during the day. And humid. And I don't like that. Okay, it's just going to be a matter of me fitting all this around every bolt and everything, so I'll bring it back. Back out here this morning, kind of nice to have natural light instead of my little light that I was using last night. And I have so far tightened up this nut on the throttle adjustment, and I want to make sure now that I've messed with everything. I didn't really change the adjustment here, but just in case it's higher or lower, I want to see, is that round thing you see that's moving there? I want to make sure that when I got it on choke, that it doesn't have any farther to go. Right, we have full choke, okay. Otherwise it just makes it hard to start and it makes it seem like a piece of junk. And then we'll just check the throttle to make sure that sounds reasonable. It looks like that's got an adjustment. That screw that goes through there, looks like that's what adjusts that. And we'll just verify everything's good. We'll make sure we got spark on both sides, and we'll give it a few honks with the PTO to see if it recovers quickly like it should, as if it was running on 2 cylinders, which it should. Choke. Sounds great. Now I'm just going to start it up, and I'm going to spray some fluid on both sides of the mufflers instead of going for the spark. We'll just check to make sure it's firing on both cylinders, going right from the mufflers, seeing if it steams off. Oops, gotta use choke.